What's up, everybody? It's your boy Val Chillmore. Welcome to another episode of Point and Laugh, the show where we make you a better Magic player and a worse person by means of crowdsourced insults. Today, we're looking at a zoo filled with amateur boxers who all flunked botany class, followed by the strongest pre-con commander in recent history versus a drunk guy who can't read too good, finishing it up with a simple farmer who decided that the reason treefolk were cool is their ability to propagate deadly fungus. For every one of you who subscribes, I will pass my editor one single leaf of butter lettuce. Thank you very much. Mango! Do something. Karametra's Bountiful Zoo. I wanted to build a dumb deck with a restriction. Don't want to spoil the surprise of it here. Would love to hear your opinions on this. Alright, 65, 4, 4, 34. Hey, I'll let you cook. I'm gonna call the police to take your stove away. So whenever they cast a spell, you reveal the top card. If it's a creature, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put that card on the bottom of your library. How did you make Rhystic Study worse? Yeah, this is worst Rhystic Study. It's not do you pay the one, it's do you play the game? If so, die. Oh my god, this is certainly a pile of Magic the Gathering cards. In the context, this is another 2 decks in a trench coat. This is, I have Rhystic Study but worse, and if I draw it or don't, my deck is either a pile of trash or it's a pile of trash attached to a baseball pitching machine that shoots at 100 miles a f***ing hour. Your utility does appear to look a little bit like putting a bike lock on the Baskin Robbins. Eladamri, despite being a gigantic piece of shit, does at least make sense because basically everything is a creature, and so he gives top deck access. I think it's supremely funny that you've built in a way to potentially skip the only enchantment that turns your entire deck on. Crash of Rhino Beetles, 15/15 trample, that's better. But a Chroma, like, this is a Twitter bookmark. This is not a creature that is going to hold it down in the late game. This is holding you down late at night as the bed rocks gently. And that's your business. And then Regal Bunnicorn, I question. Unless your table thinks board wipes are like racist or something. But to me, this deck looks like it gets hard stopped by a Blasphemous Act. Anybody casts Blasphemous Act, that is a true combo with you shitting your pants. As soon as Lurking Predators isn't on the field, this spell is bad for you. This guy wouldn't be horrible. He at least draws, and Karametra with 7 butt. I know this is off topic, but Wart, Boggart, Auntie, Smash or Pass. Please seek help. Targarine also makes a good point, believe that this could be an up the beanstalk deck as well. It would again break your gimmick of all creatures and 1 enchantment, but this is another enchantment that's very similar. But really what you want is, you want a ton of mana dorks. I don't necessarily know that you want to be leaning into this like, oh god, please don't hit me, as much as you want to be leaning into, I'm going to ramp, and then I am going to play an Eldrazi. I think that's where you would much rather be. This would be hot for you. Giving Lurking Predators, this is protection for Lurking Predators, is what this is right here. This says one and a white, don't let Lurking Predators die, and therefore keep my deck playing the game. And so First Responder would let you build a board threat, would let you bounce a ton of your weaker creatures and replay them to then continue ramping and continue getting a ton of mana to cast your big things. This is now a ramp spell, and it draws you a card. You draw a card and you get a Forester Plains to field, which is hot as hell. Bramble Familiar, at worst, re-triggers Karametra over and over and over. And then once you have a ton of mana, you can just hunt down Lurking Predators. Oh god. Yeah, you flip this, I'm scooping out of sympathy. If you play Lurking Predators and you go, yeah, this deck is f***ed up, I'm gonna kill you because every spell you cast, I'm getting a guy, and you flip a 3 mana 2/2, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna give you $5 for a play booster of Bloomburrow because it'll probably make the deck better. Today's shitposting is sponsored in part by my DJI mics being made out of solidified cat piss and our lovely patrons Bo, Beefcake, Silky Wilkie, Talamar Von Geist, Troper, Karma 5003, Emperor Tromidlov Drolmai, Ilaren, Believe,
Boxy, Bolus Brigade, Bradley Taylor, Derek Halden, Kyler Plakowski, Oath, Phelan, Dad, out for milk, Otterfire, Rubber, Zelenor, Adam Schmitz, Alpha Dog 2064, Biggest Kiss, I'm not sure if we can say that, Crimson Viper, Ico, Jess Hutchinson Wilcox, Kyle, Oberos the Overlord, Score, and Tyler Irwin. Thank you all very much for your support, and enjoy the video.
For those of you who aren't familiar with our boy, his name is short for should have gone to therapy. All right, 37 lands, pretty reasonable. Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls. So whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a +1/+1 counter on Valgavoth and draw a card. So for those of you who are not familiar, this card is crazy f***ed up. Gaming Chair. This is for when everybody jumps you, we get a second chance. Got it. General Good Creatures. That's hey, true statements. Graveyard Shopping. This is all of our recursion. Hell's Kitchen. That's a good name for the lands. Whenever a creature dies. Oh, I do love Cardor. Oh, this is my bad. This is supposed to be in the Mauled Attenborough voice. So let's embark on a lovely journey investigating what local idiot shoulda has put together in this Rakdos deck. And beginning to look through the Death by Tiny Cut section, I am overwhelmed by a general feeling that this submitter is totally unable to read. Because the core thing about Valgavoth is that he wants to deal damage on our opponent's turns. And if we notice, Shoulda has included approximately 5 ways to deal damage on an opponent's turn, and the rest of them are just generally annoying ways to hurt people. Maybe it's supposed to be about the flavor, Donaldo asks. I would agree with that if the flavor is meant to be something like Cucumber Lime Gatorade, or local dog shit. Draw 5 cards. I am convinced you did this to hurt me. I am deeply convinced you did this to hurt me on a personal level, although at least you've included the very best one in your colors. So this is very much, you are a villain, just not a super one. And we need to get you to supervillain territory if you're going to be playing this in a pod where you allege the Rock Lee training weights are coming off. Even this would be usable. We hate Storm players. We hate people who Soul Ring into Arcane Signet. You popping off with Valgavoth is not going to make anyone try to kill you. It's going to make them try to enroll you in middle school. Obnixilis, good. You kept all of the playable things in the sideboard. So we're going to rename a category just for you. Just for you, Shoulda. You defy expectations and you defy categorization. Doran Tough, which I'm presuming is Doran the Siege Tower. Excellent. So this is going to be another, let me guess, Kindred deck with, let me guess, a bunch of creatures with toughness greater than their power. And if we're going to take a great amount of risks, we're going to have some board wipes that care about power. Look at that. We're already off to the races. And if we're feeling especially frisky, we're going to have some card draw that's based around the size of somebody's ass, which I'm not going to dig into in today's political climate. We've got insurance in the form of other effects that will allow our creatures to swang thack. But first, 1 second, I'm burping up a bunch of Sprite Cranberry. That's a little bit better. Recursion. This is incredibly responsible for an Abzan player. What's our win con? Oh my god, it's Infect. So is that really a Doran deck at this point? Is that really a Doran deck when we said, okay, the trees are going to get you. I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees. Also, I put Anthrax on this knife. Ha! Yeah, Stone Skin. Wonderful. You're very good at pumping the trees. Is that what you wanted to hear from me, Hector? You are incredibly good at pumping the trees until they're really big and juicy. McCready is quite clever. Your card draw is, of course, ridiculous, like every other person that's ever built a Selesnya deck. I would recommend including at least a little bit of black card draw, because you do have access to the colors, and they have some things that you're not going to be familiar with, known as playable spells. God's plan for the trees is that they turn into paper, and you are going to get your ass pressed into printer paper, and then I'm going to draw dicks on you for TikTok jokes. Is that really how you want your life to end? We would probably rather have this be card draw. This Umbra, we would probably rather have be card draw. Or land. Or just anything. And on turn 6, maybe we get to begin playing Magic the Gathering. I do enjoy the deck. I think you made a couple very wise choices, and then I think you made a couple other choices that said, "F it, treefolk," as evidenced by this section.